The best shows we've ever experienced, the best performers we've ever seen. Think of Freddie Mercury live at Wembley during Live Aid, or a year later, Queen live at Wembley in 1985, which is widely considered one of the best rock shows of all time. What do? They're able to bring that audience into their reality. They're able to sell an audience, if you will, onto their particular vision. The audience and the performer becomes one. That's what great sales is.
All too often, someone thinks of selling as the used car salesman. You've got some piece of junk that you know isn't any good, and if you smooth talk somebody well enough, they'll buy it anyhow. To a really good entrepreneur who's building products from day one with customers in mind, selling begins on day one. Having a dialogue with customers and co-creating, enrolling them in your vision, and getting them involved in what you're doing, building it for and with them, and getting them to crave it or having it have an element of covetability such that it sells itself to some extent, that can be built into the engineering process of the product itself. So it's not just, well, I sit in my back room and build it, and then I hire someone with a suit to go out and try to sell it, but rather really getting close to people and understanding what they want, and also understanding some of the modern tools of inbound marketing and social networking presences to get people connected to you early on, to get them to really feel they want to be part of what you're doing, is a much more effective way of selling.
Join the herd. It came out like naturally, you know. I'm trying to build a brotherhood here, like a community. Like, yeah, join us, come on, let's party together and let's dance together to our music and wear face paint if you want as well. Like, we invite them to all of that for them to feel like they're part of something.
You can be guilty, and I've seen some designers fail when they're designing for themselves and they're not really designing for the brand. And for me, Nike was the ultimate challenge, because when I went to Nike, I wasn't an 18-year-old football crazy kid. And 12 years later when I left, I still wasn't a football crazy kid, but I felt that I knew him better than anybody else.
For many people, the creative process is relatively easy, but then for some reason when they go out there and they have to convince somebody to buy into this new reality, they feel that this is something foreign. They feel almost uncomfortable with that. But think that unless whatever you're doing connects with an audience, unless you're able to create that joint reality between you and whatever audience you have, you will simply just not be successful. A company exists and a career exists only when there is a willful participant on the other end to buy into that new reality.
Especially at a place like Berklee College of Music, where we've got some of the best young musicians around the planet who are steeped at this point in their career with continuing to hone the jewel of their performance. And very often I find that those musicians, I remember when I was that age also, don't really have a connection to how to get their performance before people. But the older you get, you're going to have to pull that in. Because music that you hold to yourself, it's kind of selfish. If you are a great performer, if you do have something incredible to say, and only 5 people hear it, well, what about me? What about my grandchildren? What about all the rest of us in the human condition that could have been enriched by this idea? So for me, to be a musician is to be responsible to this notion of trying to get your message or your musicality or your thought process out to as many people as possible.
So rechannel that passion that you may have for the creative process of what you're doing, and take that and apply it into the selling process of what you're doing. Don't see it as an individual or separate step. That force that propels you to create something new should be a force that continues at actually taking that new thing that you've just created and helping it find its rightful audience.